Seikane Girls Academy is an elite all-girls school for noble families. In a surprising move, the school decided to bring in a commoner as a reference sample of ordinary life, and that person was Kaburazaka Kimido, who came from a regular high school. The students at Seikane were extremely curious and excited to ask Kimido all kinds of questions. Before all of this, Kimido had been living a normal high school life. That day, Eri asked him, like usual, to grab some tea from the cafeteria. But as soon as Kimido stepped out of his classroom, a group of muscular men suddenly rushed toward him. They grabbed him, tied him up, and tossed him into a car. While inside, the men flexed their muscles in front of him, clearly showing off for some reason. Kimido had no idea what was going on. Eventually, they threw him out of the car in front of the gates of Seikane Girls Academy. A maid named Miyuki greeted him politely and thanked him for cooperating. She explained that they did not want to cause a scene, which was why they used that unusual method to bring him there. Miyuki quickly untied him. Kimido was understandably upset and said they had gone way too far. He asked where he was and who all these people were. Miyuki brushed off his reaction, saying that the way he greeted people really did make him sound like a commoner, and to her, that kind of attitude was rude. She told him she would explain everything and asked him to follow her. As they walked, Miyuki introduced herself and explained that this was a school exclusively for daughters of noble families. It focused on teaching them the traditional manners and customs of classic Japanese women. The existence of the school was a well-guarded secret from the general public. She also told Kimido that the school was called Seikane Girls Academy, and starting that day, he would be attending it. Miyuki said that all the arrangements had already been made and even Kimido's parents had given their approval. Kimido was confused and asked why he had been chosen, but Miyuki ignored the question and simply told him to keep following her. She went on to say that Seikane was a school strictly for noble women, so men were never allowed. Every single student and staff member there was female, and no exceptions had ever been made. However, recently, the school had been facing a few issues. Miyuki brought Kimido to meet the principal, Sayuri. Sayuri introduced herself and apologized if Miyuki had treated him roughly. She then asked Miyuki to apologize directly to Kimido. Miyuki did apologize, although it was pretty clear she did not mean it sincerely. Kimido then asked what the actual problem at the school was. Miyuki explained that a lot of students who graduated from Seikane ended up struggling after entering the real world. Even though they came from privileged backgrounds, they were not used to interacting with people outside of their bubble. The shock of dealing with such different lifestyles sometimes led them to odd behavior, like becoming obsessed with online games. Kimido was confused about why something like that would even be considered a serious issue. Sayuri said that some people had recently suggested the school should take action to prevent the same thing from happening to future graduates. Miyuki added that after discussing the best way to keep the school's traditions intact while still preparing students for the outside world, they decided to bring in a commoner. By inviting someone like Kimido to live among them at school, the hope was that the students would slowly get used to interacting with people from different backgrounds. On top of that, the students had never really been around the opposite sex, which had turned into a big problem on its own. Sayuri believed that this would solve everything. Kimido said he understood the situation, but he was confused about why he had been chosen to be the commoner sample. Miyuki explained that Kimido was just an ordinary high school student from the top public school in the prefecture. His height, weight, and looks were all average, and he was known as a kind person. Back in middle school, he had even been nicknamed Sebastian. Because of that, Miyuki said he was basically the perfect example of a commoner. However, according to Miyuki, there was one exceptional quality that made Kimido stand out from everyone else. He was supposedly gay, had a muscle fetish, and was attracted to handsome, muscular men. Kimido was shocked to hear that and insisted that he did not have a muscle fetish at all. Miyuki asked if she was wrong because as far as she knew, Kimido never interacted with any girls and always spent time around other boys. That information had come from Kimido's childhood friend, Eri. Kimido explained that Miyuki had misunderstood him and that he was still straight. Sayuri commented that this could be a problem, and Miyuki even warned that it might turn into a serious issue. Kimido asked why that would be. Miyuki explained that if he really was not into muscles, and for the sake of protecting the school's secret, he would have to spend the rest of his life in a place that did not exist on any map. And if he insisted on staying at that school, he would need to be medically neutered in order to protect the purity of the female students. Hearing that, Kimido had no choice but to declare that he loved well-built muscles. Miyuki was surprised to discover that side of him, but she seemed relieved. She informed him that his class would be Class 1. Sayuri reminded him that none of the students at the school had ever interacted with any boys before, so she asked him to be careful and not do anything too extreme. Kimido then walked into his class and he was stunned to see all the students standing in formation, waiting for him. One of the girls introduced herself as the class president of Class 1. Her name was Reiko. She said that she and her classmates had been waiting for Kimido's arrival. The girls greeted him politely, and Kimido introduced himself in return. When they heard Kimido refer to himself using the word "or," they were surprised to learn that commoners talk like that. Suddenly, Kimido's phone rang. The students were confused and asked what the sound was. Miyuki stepped in to calm them down and explained that the object making that noise was called a cell phone, also known as a smartphone. None of the girls had ever seen one before. Miyuki explained that a cell phone was a small, portable telephone commonly used by commoners. The students immediately crowded around to take a closer look at Kimido's phone. They had no idea that such a thin, compact device could be used to make phone calls. Some of them even asked to hold it themselves. They could not believe that Kimido was so used to using something so amazing, and they said commoners were truly incredible. Reiko stepped in and told everyone to give the phone back to Kimido. But they were so flustered they had no idea what to do. Just imagining holding it made their hearts feel like they were going to stop. They felt that way because none of them had ever interacted with a boy before. Reiko finally gathered her courage and returned the phone to Kimido herself. She thanked him for letting them see it. Then all of a sudden, Reiko remembered something she had forgotten. She needed to make him a thank you card right away. Sumire had already prepared some paper and a pen for Reiko to use. Reiko quickly wrote down a thank you card, then tied it with a ribbon, placed it inside the gift box, decorated it with flowers and another ribbon, and finally put the box in a bag before handing it to Kimido. Seeing all of that, Reiko's friends praised her for being thoughtful and always caring. Kimido thanked her and accepted the gift, but since Reiko was a little nervous, she accidentally lost her balance and fell forward. Luckily, Kimido managed to catch her in time. Reiko was so overwhelmed that she ended up fainting, which made all her friends panic. Suddenly, a girl named Aika came into the classroom and immediately pulled Kimido outside. Kimido asked her why she dragged him out. Without wasting time, Aika pushed him and tried to kiss him. She called Kimido a commoner and asked him to let her kiss him. As Aika moved her face closer to his, Kimido pushed her away and asked what she was doing. Aika explained that if she kissed a commoner, her wish would come true, so she believed she needed to kiss Kimido to make her dream a reality. Kimido told her that her wish would not come true just by doing that. Aika insisted she had heard about it from one of her upperclassmen. Kimido asked her whom she trusted more, an upperclassman who never left her room or a commoner like him. Aika let go of him and admitted that she did not really believe it either. She called Kimido a dumb commoner, but Kimido shot back that she was the one being dumb for thinking a kiss could make dreams come true. Aika responded by saying she did not actually believe it. Just messing around, Kimido joked that if she spun in a circle and barked, then her dream would come true. To his surprise, Aika actually believed him and did it right away. Kimido could barely believe what he had just witnessed. Right then, Reiko and her friends showed up to apologize to Kimido. Reiko explained that she and the others were truly worried about him, so they came looking. They were shocked to see Kimido being pulled away like that by Aika. Reiko asked what he and Aika were doing. When she called out to Aika suddenly ran away. Reiko mentioned that Aika never really talked to them, so maybe there was something they did not know about her. Later, Miyuki escorted Kimido to a dorm that would be his new place to live. She even told him there was a private room made just for him. The room had been renovated and Miyuki was confident that Kimido would be satisfied. To his surprise, the room was made to look exactly like his bedroom back home. Miyuki explained that the total costs, including special shipping, renovation, and other expenses to keep everything confidential, was around 100 million yen. Kimido was shocked when he heard that. Miyuki reassured him that she believed he would feel comfortable there. Suddenly reminded of Miyuki's earlier threat about his supposed muscle fetish, Kimido tore up his collection of 5 pictures. That made Miyuki suspicious and wonder if Kimido had been lying about his muscle fetish. To keep up the act, Kimido quickly pretended to be into muscular male figures. Miyuki then told him that from now on, she would be his personal maid. At this school, every student had their own maid to take care of them, so Miyuki would be looking after him from now on. She also informed Kimido that the introduction ceremony would begin at 3 p.m. and asked him to stay in his room and rest until then. All of a sudden, Aika barged into Kimido's room and accused him of lying. She said she had done it 58 times, but her wish still had not come true. Kimido replied by reminding her that he only said to do it 3 times. Aika said that Kimido had tricked her, but Kimido told her that she was the one who did that in the first place. Besides, he did not expect her to do something so ridiculous. Aika was shocked when she saw everything inside Kimito's room since she had never seen any of it before. Kimito explained that all of those things belonged to commoners. That got Aika thinking that maybe this was the key to getting her wish granted. She asked Kimito if learning about commoners would help make her wish come true. What she really wanted was to be popular in class. She asked if there was something wrong with that wish. According to Kimito, she did not need to go through all this just to make friends. If she could act like her normal self, her wish would come true naturally. Arika said that just being normal would not help her get what she wanted. But Kimito pointed out that if she could talk to him like this, then there was nothing wrong with her. Aika admitted that she was not good at lying, so she always said whatever was on her mind. She was convinced that people would not like her for that, and she was scared of being disliked. That was why she kept her distance from her classmates. She confessed that she really wanted to be friends with them. She hated being alone. She wanted to talk to her classmates and enjoy high school life with them. Until now, she had been spending her breaks pretending to sleep and rushing home just to avoid everyone. But she admitted that she did not want to keep living like that anymore. Arika was surprised at herself for suddenly saying all of that to a commoner like Kimito. Kimito let her borrow his game console. Arika was stunned the moment she turned it on. She could not even deny it. Commoner games were amazing. She asked Kimito to teach her how to become a commoner. She wanted to learn all about commoner culture. Arika said that commoners were starting to become popular at school. At the very least, if she knew a little about commoner culture, she was sure her wish would come true. She would become popular at school. That was why she asked Kimito to teach her everything there was to know about being a commoner. That way, she could become a commoner master and everyone in class would want to hang out with her. Arika even made up her mind to start a commoner club with her and Kimito as the only members for now. She was so fired up and said that she and Kimito would do all kinds of awesome club activities together. Kimito agreed and Arika was thrilled. She kicked off her club activities with her first mission, beating the game on Kimito's console.